So this video is going to show you how to import your grades from Infinite Campus to School Loop. So essentially, once you have an assignment listed, you're able to import your grades for that assignment from Infinite Campus to School Loop, but you kind of have to understand how it works for this to really make sense. So you can click on any assignment and you can actually import it from one of two places. You can import it from Google Classroom. The other place you can import it from is a CSV file. So the thing about CSV files is they have to be structured in a specific way or it won't import correctly. So the reason why we've always been told that Infinite Campus won't import is because while they have CSV files, their formatting's off. So let's go ahead and go to Infinite Campus and I'll show you what I mean. So if you click on the left-hand column and you scroll down to Reports, there's going to be a gradebook export. Great. Let's click on that. Make sure that the class that is selected is the one that you're trying to export. And just as a reminder, I'm trying to export my pre-calc first period class. So over here, I want to make sure that my first period pre-calc class is selected and not some other class. So select assignments. It will have all of them selected. That's great. That's what we want. It will have only your current students selected. And then down here at the bottom, it'll say generate CSV. So that's what we want to do. We want to generate the CSV file. And when we do that, it's going to actually save to our downloads. So when I click on it, you can see it's going to go to my downloads and I don't really see it. So what do we do now? Well, you want to open up Microsoft Excel because Microsoft Excel is how you open CSV files. If you have a MacBook, you could also open up Numbers. I'm not really a fan of Numbers. So instead, I'm going to open up Microsoft Excel. And once I'm in Microsoft Excel, I'm going to click File, Open. And I want to go to my downloads and I want to open the most recent download, which was a gradebook export. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to click Open. So here's the deal. If you expand this first column, what you'll notice is the way that Infinite Campus exports things, it has all these lovely assignments where it lists what the assignment was, what all the scores were, who the student was. This is the problem. So the way that School Loop works is that a student's last name must be listed first in its own column. And then a student's first name must be listed in its own column. And then the student ID, again, must be listed in its own column. So the fact that Infinite Campus lists all three together is what causes it to not be able to export. So here's what we do. Step one is we're going to insert, which you can do here with the insert button, or the way that I like to do it is I like to right-click and click insert. Now I am working on a Mac and a PC looks a little bit different. Usually on a PC you can click insert left, insert right. On a Mac it just forces it to insert right. So I'm going to insert 2 times. So I have 2 blank columns as well as this filled in column, which I'm actually going to paste over, but for now it's fine. So I have that going on. So now what? Because I have all my grades, I know who they belong to, but they're not going to import in this format. So what I need to do is get an Excel spreadsheet that has students' first names and last names and student ID numbers all listed in separate columns. Well, guess what? We have that. So next step is you log in to your School Loop. Now inside of School Loop, so let me just click on the home page. You can go to any gradebook that you want. So I'm going to go to my Honors Pre-Calc gradebook. Look up here at the top. You're going to find where it says Tools and Reports. So Tools, you want to get a roster in an Excel spreadsheet for the class period that you're trying to sync. What's great about School Loop is it's going to give you this Excel spreadsheet with the kid's last name listed separately than their first name, listed separately than their student ID. That's what we need. So we're going to click Roster. Again, it just went to my downloads right there. So the way that I'm going to open it is I'm going to open Excel again. I'm going to click File, Open. I'm going to open my most recent download, which is right there at the top. And voila. So what you guys are seeing right here is this is basically a roster, but check it out. My first names are listed separately than my last names, which are listed separately than my student ID number. They like to call it perm versus schedule. Doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I know that the last name needs to be listed first. So I'm going to highlight all my last names and I'm going to copy them. I like to use Command C to copy, but you could also copy it a more traditional way. So I'm going to come over here. Now keep in mind, there needs to be room to say last name before the student's name populates. So notice where the first student grade begins. It's right here. So this is where I want the last name to populate. So right above it is where I'm going to click Command V or, copy paste. So notice that we have last name, which lines up with, we have the assignment up top, we have the grading, and then we have, this is the number of points it's out of, and this is how many points the student got. So there's the student's last name. I'm going to go back to the other Excel spreadsheet, and I'm now going to copy and paste the first name into the second column. And last but not least, I'm going to copy their ID number right here. Once that's done, you are good to import. You can do perm ID, schedule ID. They're actually both the same thing. So I'm going to do schedule ID. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to click on my new export and I'm going to paste it right here. Okay, so I have last name, first name, student ID. You may want to make sure that this says student ID. And then we're going to save this. This is ready to go. So I'm going to click File, Save As. I'm going to save this to my desktop. I am going to call this Gradebook Export New, I guess. You can save it wherever you want. I just like saving to my desktop. Okay, so this is saved, and here's the gem of this. If you look at all these assignments, this is literally everything I have entered in IC. So I can now import from this one file every single assignment that I currently have listed in IC. So the first one I'm going to import is my 1.1. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Notice that the first column is actually reading course policies. The second one is called remote learning. The third one at the top is called getting started. Fourth one is get to know ya. Fifth one happens to be 1.2. Sixth one happens to be 1.1. Sixth one is the one I want to load. All right, we're going to file, save as, again, export new. And I'm just going to minimize it. You can close it. It's up to you. This, now that we've done the first name, last name, ID number, you can totally close it out. Okay, so here's the deal. First period, 1.1. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to import a CSV file. I have to pick which one it is. Well, guess what? It's the new one. I'm going to pick choose or enter, select, whatever your computer says. You're going to get this crazy looking thing. It's fine. Just click close. Now, remember how I was counting how many over it was? So here's the student's last name, first name, ID number. First column was the first assignment I was talking about. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth one was the 1.1 assignment. We select grade. In other words, this is the grade that should be imported. And there you go. They all populated. The kids that are blank are only blank because they did not have a grade for that assignment, not because there's some sort of a glitch. So then you just click Save and Exit. Now, I don't know if you remember this or not, but for whatever reason, my 1.2 is listed before my 1.1 on my Excel spreadsheet. Remember this? So if this guy was the sixth assignment, then the fifth assignment is going to be this guy. the 1.2. So I can immediately use the exact same spreadsheet without having to re-download and redo anything to go to 1.1, click on it, click Import, CSV, New, and Close. And I'm going to go over and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my 1.2 assignment. Import, save. Okay, so now we're here. Here's the thing about all of this. First of all, there is a fancy pants way when you import that it actually lists above each of the points what the assignment name is. No idea how to do it. I learned this trick through a very bizarre workaround hack from Big Ideas and trying to export their grades. Second thing I want to mention, these titles don't have to match your Infinite Campus titles for it to import. I can literally import from that file to anywhere I want. So this did not have to say 1.1 homework on web assign exactly how it said it on Infinite Campus. I could have just typed add assignment, and I could have gone just really sloppy, 1.1, picked whatever date, put in the points, click publish, and I still can import to this thing that grade if that's what I want. So here we go. It's loading. There's my sloppy assignment. It's fine. Import from CSV. Do you remember which one it was? It was number 6. Close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Import as a grade. Bam, done. So this is kind of nice. This is a really quick way to put the grades over from Infinite Campus, and I really hope it helps.